Hello everyone and welcome back to Bacon. Also, welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon, Rod's Route. Days pass without any real conflict. I run into Sir Alcaster again in the hallways, but his eyes pass over me as if I'm something to be ignored. Delora, who had been ignoring me as she had been busy with other priorities, returned to the Martian yesterday to discuss something important with Parfait. It is not as if she has been any help since she came here. She mostly stays in my room while I run around doing errands for Emelaigne and taking on other chores as they are handed to me. Right now I am headed to the palace gates as I hurry to meet Emelaigne. She's going out to town to meet Viorica again, and I was told to meet her there. Lucette. I turn around to see Fritz walking in my direction. Ever since I told him to refer to me by my name, he has been stumbling over not using my title. I rarely see him, but when I do, we do not have much time to discuss anything. Can I help you with anything, Fritz? It's been a while. Have you managed to complete one of your good deeds? Days after I had originally run into Fritz, I managed to have a quick conversation with him regarding my curse. It had been a long time since that conversation happened. Recently, I have barely seen Fritz. I hear rumors that he has been reassigned somewhere outside the palace. I show him my pendant and point at the piece of the second glass slipper. I managed to get one several days ago. Lucette, that's wonderful. Aw, he's genuinely happy for her, isn't he? I knew that you could get one. Only 2 more and then I can break this curse. And he was her personal knight, so he probably knew her fairly decently and is still super nice to her. That's just kind of evidence to me that she was probably just a nice person, just with a lack of patience. And with a very screwed up logic, of course. Because again, she still had a bad way of looking at the servants. Ah, Fritz, Miss Lucette. I did not think the two of you were acquainted. We both turn our heads at the same time when Mithros suddenly appears from around the corner, the usual smile on his lips. Sir Mithros? Fritz, I believe Sir Alcaster is looking for you. Right, sorry. Lucette, I must take my leave now. Of course. So if that baby dies again, I'm gonna throw hands. Fritz bows to Sir Mithros before walking off, leaving me alone with Sir Mithros. Mithros does not say anything, but continues to smile at me. His staring makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Is there something on my face? Excuse me. I curtsy and start to walk off when Sir Mithros calls my name. Lucette? Yes? I just wanted to thank you for your hard work and dedication to our princess. I look at him, puzzled by his sudden gratitude. Don't worry, everything will soon be remedied. Oh, look at the face! Look at the face! Yes, I know what's going on, and I know what I'm doing. Evil plot, brow up. Excuse me? My apologies, I did not mean to keep you. He completely ignores my question. Not evil at all. He dips his head slightly before turning and walking away, the smile still on his face. The creepy, snaky smile still on his face. What was that all about? Rod and Emelaigne were already waiting for me outside the carriage by the time I arrived at the palace gates. Rod has his arms crossed and looks at me irritable. His face is perpetually stuck in that scowl, it seems. You are late. My apologies. You're so grumpy, but you've been late many times before too, Rod. Rod just shrugs his shoulders as he turns and heads into the carriage. Oh, you little... Emelaigne sighs before looking at me. Shall we? Of course. The 3 of us sit in silence as the carriage rolls toward town. The knight assigned to guard us is sitting out front with the driver, watching for any disturbances. Emelaigne glances forlornly out one window while Rod silently looks out the other as he rests his chin on the palm of his hand. I notice Emelaigne pausing to glance at Rod every now and then, looking restless. Finally, she breaks the silence. Are you still mad that I asked you to come along to visit Viorica? You could have declined the invitation, Rod. No, he couldn't have. You don't let him. And if you would only tell me what happened between the two of you, I would do my best to remedy the situation. Rod notices me looking at him and scowls. He returns his moody gaze to the window. I have nothing to say, Em. We used to be good friends with Viorica too, Rod. But then, ever since you were... Emelaigne stops herself, but I know that she's referring to his curse. After that day, you've kept your distance from her. Then, when you found out about the wedding, you became even colder towards her. Even Viorica is worried about you, Rod. She worries that she might have offended you somehow. Emelaigne. There's a hint of warning in his tone. Is it possible that Viorica is related to Rod's curse, considering the timing? Emelaigne opens her mouth against to say something, but then suddenly stops and returns to the window, her expression mirroring Rod's own gloom. We are all silent until we arrive at the toy shop. Emelaigne, good to see you again, and you too. Lucette, was it? I nod in acknowledgement. Viorica nods politely at the knight who stands guard at the shop door. It's just the two of you today? Emelaigne and I both turn around, only to see that Rod has indeed vanished. Emelaigne frowns, looking both bewildered and disappointed. He was right behind us. I will go look for him. Thank you, Lucette. Just as I expected, Rod is leaning against the wall of an alley just outside the toy shop. Just like last time. Ooh. Okay. Talk with him or stay with him? Okay, I established last episode that I was just gonna go with the first episode if I wasn't 100% certain. But no, let's go with talk to him. Okay. Emelaigne and Viorica are looking for you. When he does not answer, I cross my arms and raise an eyebrow. Do you hate Viorica that much? I don't hate her. Then why are you avoiding her? When we first came here, you actually looked friendly with her, but recently... This doesn't involve you, Lucette. Fine. I will tell Emelaigne that you will be in the carriage waiting for her then. When Rod doesn't answer, I sigh and start to head back into the shop. Princess Lucette. Rod and I turn at the sound of the familiar voice. Waltz pauses in front of us with a bright smile. It's nice to see you again, Princess. Waltz, what are you doing here? Well, I was about to deliver a letter to the prince, but I guess that won't be necessary anymore. A letter? Is Lady Porfay asking for me? Not just you. She wants to see the princess as well. Me? It has been a while since I was last at the March-In. Is something wrong? They need to discuss something important with the princess. Come to the March-In tonight. Tonight? But we're already here, so why not now? Walt's eyes shift to her carriage. You are here with Princess Emelaigne, yes? You can't make her wait too long. What they need to discuss with you is complicated and will take some time to explain. The toy shop... Oh, that's right. She hasn't been told about her mom and stuff yet, so it's probably going to be that discussion. The toy shop door opens and Emelaigne stands in the doorway as she says her goodbyes to Viorica. Remember, tonight. Those are Waltz's last words before he slips back into the crowd. And I didn't see a crystal. I know sometimes they can take a hot second to go through, though. I'm gonna go ahead and go back. Yes. Stay with him. I can tell by Rod's stiff posture that anything I say to him will fall on deaf ears, so I move to stand next to him instead. I lean against the wall with him. What are you doing? Keeping you company? Rod raises an eyebrow at me. Since when have you even liked my company? Well, I'd rather be here than stay inside the toy shop and listen to Emelaigne and Viorica talk. So you're not here to try and get me to talk? Well, it's not as if you would answer any of my questions. I have tried forcing you to talk, and I know how ineffective it is. But I will be here if you do want to talk. Rod eyes me suspiciously. Since when did you start listening to others? I actually like this one better. I have a feeling this one's probably it. Yep. Right when I said it! When you are the personal mate of someone who enjoys talking, you learn to listen. Emelaigne has been happier these past few months. I hate to admit it, but it seems it to be because of you. Are you actually praising me? Rod looks away, his cheeks tinted pink. Aww. Think whatever you like. I do not know why, but for some reason I am happy that Rod gave me a compliment. Princess Lucette. Rod and I turn at the sound of... Okay. Alright, yeah, it's the same thing. Just making sure. Remember, tonight. Okay. Emelaine's visit with Viorica was briefer than I thought it would be. Now all of us are headed back to the palace. Rod has not uttered a word on our way back. I can tell that this is making Emelaigne agitated as she continues to keep glancing at Rod expectantly. If you have something to say, say it. Emelaigne stares at me. You obviously want to say something to Prince Rod. The only way to get your answers is to ask him directly. Rod does not turn around. It is as if he does not hear me. Emelaigne clasps her hands and sighs. Well? I glance at Rod, who still persistently stares out the window, his eyes focused on nothing. He is pretending not to hear us. How immature. Rod? Viorica was sad that you weren't there today. She was certain that you stayed outside to avoid seeing her. What is going on with you? I am not in the mood to answer your questions, Em. Emelaigne grips the edges of her dress, her expression becoming more rigid. You've been keeping secrets from us ever since you were cursed. We don't even know why you were cursed or how to help you break it. Wait, the rest of the family doesn't know anything about the circumstances of Rod's curse? I had thought that he told them everything, but all they know is that he is cursed? We're a family. We're supposed to help each other through problems. Emelaine's hands are shaking as she gazes at her brother. Em. The carriage stops, and as soon as the servant opens the door, Emelaigne quickly steps out and rushes back toward the palace. I had a feeling she was going to run right back in. Rod watches her go quietly, though his eyebrows are furrowed and he looks guilty. I silently shake my head at him before running after Emelaigne. Emelaigne stands in the hallway with her hands to her chest. She breathes slowly in and out as if she is on the verge of tears. When she notices me behind her, she turns away and wipes her eyes on the back of her hand. I'm sorry for storming off like that. I was just very frustrated at Rod. I said something I shouldn't have said back there. If anyone finds out about this, they won't. Your secret is safe with me. Emelaigne flashes me a grateful smile before looking at the sky. Em! One moment Rod is running down the hallway, the next he has stopped in front of us and is trying to catch his breath. Em, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, Rod, but right now I would like to be alone. Of course. I'm sorry, Lucette, but could you leave me for now? She does not even wait for my answer before walking away, leaving me alone with Rod. You made her cry, Rod. I am fully aware of that. Why are you hiding your curse from your family? You wouldn't understand. I am doing this to protect them. Protect them? Rod silently shakes his head. They wouldn't understand. Those are the last ominous words Rod speaks before rushing off, leaving me alone in the hall. What happened to him? The hallways are silent at this time of night, as most everyone in the palace prepares for bed. I am now on my way to our meeting place. Rod told me earlier to wait for him there. I had thought that he would make me go to the marching by myself after what transpired with Emelaigne, but I was wrong. Emelaigne was so upset today. I have never seen her like this before. I turn my thoughts back to the marching and to what Walt said earlier. I wonder what Parfait wants to talk with us about. I feel my heart beating erratically against my chest. Why do I feel like something bad is going to happen? I realize that I've been standing in the open for a while. Perhaps I should move. People might find my standing here suspicious. I start walking again, and I'm surprised when I feel a hand close around my wrist and pull me into the darkness. I open my mouth, but a hand muffles my scream. Shh, Rod. Rod's gaze is icy. He speaks quietly, but I can feel the anger simmering underneath his words. What if someone saw you just standing there? Have you even thought about how they might get suspicious? His tone is so accusatory that for a moment I cannot find my voice. But then, he is right. I should have been more careful. Sorry. Rod stares at me surprised. What? I never thought I'd hear you apologize, especially to me. Oh? Well, at least I know how to apologize, unlike you. And why would I ever have reason to apologize to you? Because you've done nothing but treat me coldly, even when I have done nothing to personally attack you. Rod scowls at me, but does not say anything. Instead, he sighs and takes my hand, pulling me after him. Oh, really? First of all, yes. Tell him, Lucette. Second of all, you guys are holding hands? Little Sebbie waving at her from behind. What? Let's go before the guard sees us. I have no energy to argue with Rod, so I allow him to pull me along. I'm sorry. What? He apologized to me? Don't make me repeat myself. I did not hear you clearly. If there's one thing I know about you, it's that you're not deaf. Of course I'm not. Shh, someone will hear you. I glare at Rod, but he does not respond. Princess, your hand is really warm. Sebbie! Rod freezes in place and glares at Sebbie, who seems to be shrugging. Oh, you little saboteur! Your thoughts are too loud, Rod. Through the dim lights, I can actually see a faint blush on Rod's cheeks. You are blushing. I am not. He lets go of my hand and starts to walk toward the secret passage, with me trailing behind him. We look around to make sure no one is in sight before we both slip inside. I follow closely behind Rod in silence. My eyes move upward to the little bunny plush hanging on his shoulder. Sebbie, I've been wondering, have you ever talked with Rod's family as yourself? Rod suddenly stops and scowls over his shoulder at me. What? I am asking Sebbie, not you. No, I don't, Princess. Rod doesn't want me to talk with others since he thinks that I might say something unnecessary. As if you haven't yet. You invasion of privacy, you. So much for that. You still speak even when it is unnecessary. In the dim lighting of the tunnel, I think I can see a faint pink in Rod's cheeks, but it is probably a trick of the strange lighting. Rod is right. Sebbie has blurred out his thoughts more than a number of times. Alright. I'm gonna go for this. Sebbie sighs. How can I not when Rod here is thinking too loudly? It makes my head ache. You get headaches? That's not the point. The point is that when he thinks on something too long, his head becomes cloudy and really full, like it's going to explode. That's why I got to explain for him. He's not good at expressing his thoughts, so I... Ooh, nice. I was mostly faking it because I wanted to see some sass. Rod cuts Sebbie off by pinching his cheek. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Rod sighs and continues walking. Rod, have you spoken with Emelaigne since that earlier incident? No. As much as I want to ask him again about his curse, I doubt that he will divulge anything right now. I decide to keep my thoughts to myself as we head for the March-in. When we arrive at the March-in, Parfait and Delora are there to welcome us. The others, however, are nowhere in sight. Actually, I'm gonna end things right here before we get into all the March-in stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been the Cinderella phenomenon. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to share, comment, like, subscribe, all that lovely stuff. Bye!